hear me. Hold it a sec.
What was that? I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
I was talking to Lanaya. I was telling her the food was hot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our bi-weekly S.O.A.R board meeting. I am Latoya Dawkins, and I will be your host this evening. Can someone make a motion to start the meeting? Before we'll do prayer, but if someone can make a motion to open the meeting.
I made a
I'm
motion to
okay.
open the meeting.
Oh.
I second Tiana.
Okay. Awesome. So for the record, Tiana made the first motion and
That was me. It was Rosie.
oh, sorry. Rosie
okay.
made the first motion and Andre made the second. And would anyone like to pray?
I'll pray. Dear Lord, we just come to you with abundance of thanksgiving. You've blessed us with so many different great things, so many great opportunities as individuals, as a collective group, and everybody that's connected to us. And we really just come to say thank you for your grace, your mercy, your ability to continue us in having the stamina, the fight, the belief, the faith, the hope, the charity, just to continue to build this incredible organization and build ourselves in the same way with our connections and networks that we have. We just ask you that you bless this meeting, that we get the information out that is needed for us to continue forward, and that you continue to bless our endeavors and our leaps of faith that we take in the success of our youth, of your youth. It's in his name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so
Amen.
much, Andre, for that wonderful prayer. I said, Brother Andre. We are going to go ahead and get started. Let me share my screen so you guys can follow along. And while I'm getting that prepared, wanted to ask if everyone had a chance to read the minutes from the previous meeting. And if anyone would like to make a motion to approve the minutes.
I did read the previous minutes, and I want to say I approve.
Okay, would anyone like to second?
I second. This is Rosie.
Okay, thank you. All right, so we'll jump right into celebratory announcements. So S.O.A.R has completed another V, B, and E series. That advance went by so fast. So we just want to thank everyone for your contributions, and the graduation was wonderful. It was really great to have the keynote speaker, Miss C. So just hoping that we can continue that. But it was just.
I want to get the potty.
Okay, can you tell Daddy, please? Okay, go. Look, Daddy's right there.
Let's go.
Hold on, guys. Sorry, 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. All right, so yeah, yes, wonderful series. Our spring 2023, like I said, it went by very fast, very enjoyable. We added a lot of new components to this series, and so just looking forward to doing bigger and better each and every time that we do it. Even at the I'm blanking on the Memorial Day celebration, Rosie interacted for a little while. I got to meet him, but Rosie mostly spoke to prospective oh my goodness, my words are escaping me, I think because of Jaden, instructor who's interested in possibly teaching one of our classes. So it's always nice to network and just continue to build the series and add new instructors. We were so grateful to have Miss Rainey this time around, and so we're just looking forward to bigger and better. We have raised $19,000 so far. That number has grown tremendously. So we want to celebrate that and thank everyone who has been working on the fundraiser. We have Naomi for her recent senior night ceremony where she received 2 honorary awards. Outstanding Senior Award. Okay, is Nay on the call? Oh, she's not on the call.
No, she's not feeling well today.
Oh, all right. Well, please send her. We'll send her our prayers and regards and just congratulate her for us. We're on a recorded line so she can watch it back. And also for recognition of service. So 4 years in her high school choir. Wow, that's awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So I know, T, you must be so proud. Do you want to say anything in regards to that?
Let's see if I can get through this without crying. No, it's just I'm just proud of her. It was an honor to be able to even, be there for her and support her. And she didn't see that award coming. So the outstanding senior award was her. If some of you may know that her former choir director for the school had passed away from cancer, and that was actually not even a year ago. So she took that very hard, but apparently prior to his passing, he had arranged for certain awards to be given for the upcoming senior night. This is something he does annually. And so that particular award was really set aside for her to receive, because he just truly adored her. I remember speaking with him at one of the, teacher conferences, and he just absolutely adored her. He's like, I could tell she comes from a family that sings. I'm like, yeah, she does. And she's actually, like they were calling her mother hen of the choir, because she just keeps everyone in line and just making sure that everyone's doing their part and stuff like that. She takes her role in the choir very seriously. So for her to be recognized for that, it was amazing. So she was and she did get a $100 scholarship with that for books. So yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, congratulations to you, to our intern, Naomi Garner. Congratulations. You are very well deserved. That is awesome.
Did she get her money, Tiana?
I don't think so. Hopefully the lady will allow her to hold it this time. She was saying, I didn't give it to you yet because I was afraid you would lose it. I'm like, her parents are here. Like, we'll take it. Yeah,
Right.
more
Give me that money. Hand that check over.
Right. She's a few months from being legal. She'll be all right.
Right.
All right. So yes, S.O.A.R's appearance at the Borough of Roselle Memorial Day Parade, featuring our CEO as a keynote speaker. This was such a wonderful event to really just see the community come together. It was so nice to see it and see our banner. We all had on our t-shirts really representing. I mean, we were in the front, y'all. We weren't in the back. We were in the front. And so the community is really appreciative of Rosie and S.O.A.R and all the community work that's been done. I was just so impressed by Rosie's keynote. I always just enjoy seeing her in uniform too, because it just brings so much appreciation for men and women of service and the freedoms and liberties that we're able to enjoy, right? Because that's really what that day is about, Memorial Day. So to hear her keynote and, give encouragement to those who are currently in the service and those who have passed, and talk about her own experience and community service. It was just such a nice event to be a part of, and the community all coming together to do it was just absolutely phenomenal. So really celebratory. Rosie, you want to add anything?
No, I appreciate you guys' support. Like it really was. I echo and share the sentiments, Tor. So thank you so much for, coming out and being a part of it. Obviously, I know everybody wasn't able to make it, but I know you guys were there in spirit, and for that, we appreciate it. And it was nice. It was fun. It was, it was a beautiful day. You know, and so, God really just met us there. And so I appreciate that. I was nervous as all get out, but the Lord had his way. So amen for that.
Yes. And you've been speaking so much. I feel like it's just your
Yeah,
thing.
right. But it was my first real, like I was telling your mom yesterday that it was my first time writing something down and actually speaking from like a piece of paper, or, what I'm saying? Like speaking from it. Like it's very different for me because I am a free flower, if you will. And sometimes that's a good thing. A lot of times for me, that feels like it's a good thing. And then sometimes it's not. And this was one of the times where I felt like it wouldn't be a good thing because I needed to be prepared because of, like you said, the what the day represents, and our audience, and all those who made this day even possible, for us to be able to stand and together, united, and to embrace our soldiers, our families and stuff. It really is, um, you know, very sentimental for me on many levels. Obviously we have a lot of military family. Even Dre, his dad was military. And so we all can, share the same sentiment with that. And so, I appreciate you guys being there. It was definitely a blessing. It was an honor. They mentioned S.O.A.R, and just I recognize y'all for being there, and I loved it. I love to see that, and the fact that they saw y'all in the crowd. It was like they're S.O.A.R's here, like they out there, and so I appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm always just blown away when I hear you speak, and you're Black, you're a woman, your family. It's just so overwhelmingly, I just never get used to it. I feel like I've seen you do it so much, and I like recently with all of the different exposure, and I feel like I just don't get used to it. And I had this moment too after you spoke, and I was looking around just at all the people of color who serve, which I don't think I always get to see, depending on the communities that you live in. And when the mayor had everyone clap for the police officers and the firefighters. And I remember I turned around because I was like, woo, and I turned around and I saw this Black officer, this Black man, and I just saw him inhale and exhale. And I don't know why, but I just felt so emotional in that, because we just have to show more love. We've lived in a lot of different times, and they're on the ground, they're doing the work. So yeah, it's just nice. I see Tiana put some in the chat. Yeah, the community really really came out, so it was awesome. Roselle is doing some things, y'all, doing some things. Even Women on the Move, your other
Yeah. They're right behind us.
right, they were
Yeah.
deep too.
It was fun. It's always fun. And the more we engaged, the more we're received. And I appreciate that too. So
Yeah,
this is just the beginning, y'all. Y'all gonna be up there next. Maybe not for Memorial Day, but one of them something else y'all gonna be up there for. So let's not sleep on y'all either. It's coming.
all right. So yeah, I am your host today. Our next host on June 19th will be JR. And then we will have Andre on the 3rd, Leon and Naomi on July 17th, and then on July 31st we'll have Chastity.
Okay, so I put in red, bold, and yellow highlighted because I know this is probably something new that we've done, but just with everybody's schedules and so much going on, I wanted to kind of you know, maybe not take as long of a break if, you know, because we do have so much happening in between, but maybe just taking like the rest of either June or July, like whatever month we think it, you know, would be sufficient for us to just kind of take a breather for a moment before we get into, you know, the busy time. June is kind of a low, you know, like after the second quarter VNE, we don't really have anything as an organization going on for June, because again, we've got birthdays and anniversaries and things like that. So I just wanted to kind of gauge you guys' thoughts on taking like you know, a couple weeks off and just really just meeting. If there's anything that comes up, clearly I won't be taking off. But as far as just like meeting and whatever, you know, just taking off for the meetings. What do you guys think would be a good time frame for us to do that? I know we also have the summer course coming up too, so we got to kind of keep that in mind and wrap up to that.
Probably be, if I were to make a suggestion, it would probably be now, like after this meeting, as opposed to July, because you know mid-July is when we start the H&T series, and so you know we've got to, you know, put everything out there. We can take June off, and only thing we really have to focus on is promoting Kick, and then promoting Rock the Block.
Well, we have a few things before. We got the Kick, we got the college tour.
Oh yeah, I forgot the Kick and college tour.
Well, yeah, well, you mentioned Kick, but the college tour is like the week after that. So, yeah, I mean, and that's why I wanted to bring it up, because I wasn't sure, and that's why I kind of left the gap in between Toya and JR, because I pushed the dates back based on today being a pushback date for the meeting. So these weren't the original dates that we set either. So we could very well, as Dre said, you know, just come back on the 3rd of July and, you know, full speed ahead and, you know, ramping up. But I mean, there still has to be some stuff done, because we want to make sure that we have a good, you know, build up that momentum for the summer course that starts the second week in July.
Mm-hmm.
So, but then we have the virtual networking event, which really is just, you know, all of that is just sharing out the information and hope, you know, getting people to come and invite them to participate in the event. And that's next Monday. So we have this week, and then that's it, really. Next week. So if we could kind of just push for that, I agree, you know, just taking off the rest of June if everybody else is good with it.
I'm okay with it. It's July 3rd, though, I wouldn't be on because that's my anniversary.
Right. And that's the Monday, obviously the Monday before July 4th. So I was like, okay, so we do it then, or, you know, do we push it back again? But then that's going into the first, like the first week of our summer program. So we definitely need to meet before then. I think. So, I mean, even, you know, if everyone is okay with meeting on the 3rd, then maybe we can just keep the 3rd, and, you know, it's recorded. So Tiana, we can catch you up to speed with the recording. Is everyone good with me coming back?
I'm good with that.
Meeting on the 3rd, and then Dre, you kicking it off anyway, so that's good timing. Okay, JR's good. Got thumbs up. All right, so cool. So after this, like I said, the only other thing would be just, you know, helping to promote the upcoming virtual networking event. We do have a guest speaker. I will be helping to host that. And so if we could just, you know, push the flyers that's been going out, the reels, you guys have probably seen them all over our page. Like Donna has been on it. Her and Ellen, you know, together, but Donna is, you know, she's really managing the social media aspects of things. And so if we could just make sure to get the word out, get people to participate and register, you know, we definitely need to, you know, start that now, working on registration. So.
Okay,
Right.
I was gonna ask, I'm fine with the break. I guess I was gonna ask about August. I know a lot happens in August too with vacations and different things. Is that
Mhm.
open for a break as well? Because I guess I'm just thinking we have it's one meeting and we are planning a few things. So I didn't know if maybe August would be a nice break in between, like jumping into the Rock the Block and the next
Yeah.
meeting series.
Right. Well, yeah. So I know Dre. What Dre? You said July is a busy time for you. I don't know about August, but and then I won't be back until uh we won't be back
The
until
10th, right? 10th of
the eighth
August?
of eighth of
8th.
August. And then yeah, we really don't even have. I don't think we have anything scheduled for August.
Hmm.
Everything, yeah. So June and August are kind of like our most of our downtime. So that is a good point. We could, if everybody wants to like do August too. I would say maybe because we do have the Rock the Block the second weekend in September, and so we need to really ramp up for that too. And then we also have the college tour in September as well as the so
So maybe we dwindle
I
it
don't know
down
about the
to
whole
one
month.
meeting. Yeah, like one
Yeah,
meeting like June, we have this meeting June 5th. So maybe
right,
August we only need the one meeting.
right. And maybe we could do that towards the latter part of August. Yeah, because I know we're going to be away from the 15th through the 22nd. We'll be out of town. And Tori, you guys too, right? Are you
Yes.
guys still planning on? Okay. Yeah, so we'll all be away at the around that time. So maybe we can reconvene that following week. Let me look at the calendar. I don't even know what the calendar.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same
Yeah.
thing. Mm, yeah, so the 28th maybe.
Yeah. Um, yeah, because then we have Labor Day the following Monday, and then after that is yeah. So while we won't meet, I think for the month of August leading into September, we do still need to, and we'll talk about that further down, but we do still need to, just continue planning for these upcoming events. Um, and the Rock the Block is a big one for us, so that's going to take a few weeks of planning and stuff like that. But as far as like meeting, I think we could probably, if everybody's good with it, we could hold off meeting again until the 28th of August.
I think that should work. We have 3 meetings in July, so that'll be a good time to really focus on that.
Mhm. And then the only other thing is it'll be the 28th, but then we won't meet again until the Rock the Block. So we may need to try to maybe figure out maybe adding like another meeting just before, just to kind of finalize everything and make sure everything is good. Dre, you still coming down for that? We have to coordinate.
Yep.
All right, so we just got to coordinate that too. So, all right, so what we talking to? Like, so the rest of the month of November, of June, and then and then for August, we won't meet again until the 28th.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, because it would be tough to do the 14th. Everybody's getting ready. So yeah, that works. All right. So yes, for the record, for note taking, this will be our last board meeting for June, and then we will reconvene July 3rd. So Rosie, are we gonna keep the host agenda or will everybody just move down one?
I guess we could just all move down one. So the next one, yeah, would be no. So I guess we'll keep it for Andre because that'll be leading into the next course, which is, the summer program. So I think it would be fitting for him to run
Yeah,
that.
because I think the next one is It's Chastity and then me, right?
No, it would have been JR for the
Oh,
19th
JR.
if he would
Okay,
have.
cool.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, you could just put me in for the July one.
Mhm. Unless you and Chastity want to host together, I don't know, but you know, it's up to y'all.
Yes, we shall talk. We shall talk.
All right.
I'm open. Let me know.
All right, cool. So we're going to jump into the grant opportunities. So the Capital One opportunity submitted February 27th, submitted PayPal payment requests 2 times, and pending the update from JR. I don't know if there was a text or something, but I don't know if someone wants to unmute and speak to that.
He had me send a text to Mizelle today. I asked him.
Okay. So did he give you a timeline of when he would be submitting it?
Thinking today. I'll check again. But I had told him, July's next month. So if we could get it, that'll be good.
Not July's next month. Yes, that would be correct. All right, cool.
All right, and then we have more grants that were submitted by Ellen, the Ford grant submitted on June 1st. Any updates on that, or we're just pending an update?
No, just pending.
Okay. And then snap raise, said rate, because I'm looking at updates at the same time. Any updates or takeaways from anyone as we're almost at our end date of June 8th, which is Thursday?
So I'm sorry, just to backtrack for August, so we are scheduled to have our virtual networking event, our third quarter one on the 15th. So clearly that's not going to work for us. So we'll have to try to see if, I don't know what, so I'm just looking at our calendar of events. Because I knew it was something going on in August that I was missing, and it's the 15th, which is our third quarter virtual networking event. So we could, I'm trying to see when the next, so it looks like the fall series doesn't start until October 2nd.
Mhm.
And then it runs through November 28th. So I don't know why I was thinking that it was starting in September. We're starting a little bit later this year.
No, we typically start in October. Maybe we've started at the end of September. I think what
Yeah.
is new is the Rock the Block is typically in October, but this year's in September, right?
No, last year we had it in September, around the same time. It was like a day difference.
Huh.
The weekend of September 11th, though. So I think it was the 10th last year. This year it's the 9th. Yeah, I feel like I think we did start like the latter part of September, but it's cool. I was just saying that because then maybe we can push the third quarter networking event to September, because we also talked about like the back to school, like redoing the family engagement, the family and community engagement. Remember we talked about that, Tiana and Chastity, and I think Chastity was gonna work with Tiana, I'm sorry, Derry, or maybe even Chastity, Derry, and Tiana can work together for that one, but we can push it back to September. We just got to figure out what day.
Yeah.
And then we can add it to the September schedule. So the 9th is the Rock the Block. The 23rd is when we attend the Sisters Pushing Ahead, but that's on a Saturday. And then the 29th is the full college tour. So we usually do our things, our networking events on like a Monday. So we have the 4th, the 8th, well, the 4th, no, the 4th is out. We have the 18th or the 25th. What are you guys thinking, Tiana and Chastity? Are you good with like what date would work better for you guys?
I'm not either, really, for me. I don't have anything.
You said the 25th?
Yeah, it was either the 18th or the 25th. Of course, based on my calendar, like, because the 4th is out,
Yeah.
the 11th is out, because the 11th is like the day after, not the day after, I'm sorry, the Monday after the Rocker Block. So I didn't want to put anything right behind that.
No, I was just
Right.
checking. I believe I'm off that day, so the 25th might work better for me.
Okay,
Well,
okay,
School might be out that day. That's Yom Kippur, so a lot of people might be out off that day, school-wise.
okay. So that, you're saying that might work?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay,
Yeah,
okay,
I'm good with either. So 25th is
Okay.
fine.
okay, good. Because then we have the college tour, but the 23rd, like I said, that's that's us doing something on a smaller scale. We're not hosting that, but the virtual networking event we will be. So I'll add that to the September schedule. All right, cool. And I'll send this out to you guys so you have an updated version of it.
Okay,
really
I was just about to say, I was looking through my files to bring up the count. I have it printed, it's on my desk, but I wanted to see, the most updated one online.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna make the change and then I'll send you guys the current one.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, because I'm gonna have to change the font to add it because we got like 3 things on there and it's a small box. So
Okay, so for the notes, we are going to move the third quarter networking event that was scheduled for August 15th to September 25th. And it's going to be about family engagement, hosted by Tiana and Chastity, I believe.
yes, and then Derry will be one of the moderators or the panel speakers.
Okay. Sounds good. Let me go back to sharing. All right, so we were on the Snap Raise fundraiser. The extension is to June 8th. Any updates, takeaways, tips?
So we have like 4 days left. I mean, that's that's pretty much it. We got an extension through the 8th. And so I kind of just left this open for anybody to share their experience. I know that, for the most part, we've done our part. Like it really is just a matter of people doing theirs. So, like what's been the biggest challenge? What's been, your biggest takeaway? For me, I'm I'm pushing every day, texting every day, emailing every day. I just had somebody just text me just literally just now to ask if she still had time to donate. So I respond to her, but yeah. What are you guys thinking in terms of just fundraising or just this fundraiser and what we can do in the next 4 days to really maximize on getting as much as we can towards our goal?
Yes, I had a
Hi.
question. I don't know if it was, I'm sorry, Leon, go ahead.
I was going to say, so just one, I'm not sure if it'll work for all, but I literally, for mine, I was reaching out not only to like family and like immediate friends, but even some old classmates at like high school, junior high school, people that I have on Facebook. I was like literally like emailing and texting, everybody. So, but this particular fundraiser, it's really good because people get to see, like what the mission is, what what you're trying to do. But it does require just like consistency. Like if you do it one time and they may forget, so you have to be a little annoying. I'm using the word annoying, but it's not annoying, but it's like, but we have to be in a sense like to remind people, you did tell me you was going to donate. So I normally like at the end of the week, I don't do what Rosie does, but like at the end of the week, for those who didn't donate that they confirm they would, I just normally send like this is a friendly reminder, like either through text or through email. And some respond, and then some, they'll send it. So just you just gotta be consistent with it, with the ones who have committed and or have given a word to do so. But if you don't, the day's gonna go by, you're not gonna get anything. So definitely want to be consistent with it. Stay hands-on.
It's great. Anyone else like to share? I did have a question. I was going to ask about the extension. I don't know if it's been discussed previously, but I guess I was wondering, how did we get the extension and what are the parameters? Is that something that like SNAP raised? I know I saw your text. I think you said you had asked them, Rosie, if an extension was possible.
Yeah, because they normally run their campaigns 28 days. So from the start, we had gotten an extension because I asked them to do a full 30. So they gave us that, they honored that. And then last week, when we got to day, I believe it was day 7, I asked them if we could extend it. And I think they gave us like 4 more days or something like that on the back end of it. So yeah, it was just me asking, but they don't normally do that. Normally their thing is, well, after 28 days, if people haven't donated, then that's pretty much all you're going to get. And for me, I'm just like, no. we can continue. And as you can, as you see, if anybody's been following it, because I share the link all the time, so you guys can, you can follow it and see like the money that's been raised. Janaya alone has just within the past week raised over $2,000. One donation alone that came in was $1,000 while we were on our meeting the other day with the parents talking about the internship. Somebody had donated $1,000 to her campaign. So, it really, I agree with Leon. Like it really is a matter of, this is our first really big fundraiser. Obviously we've done it for the gala and stuff like that. But a lot of that was really just ticket sales. It wasn't, we didn't really push the way we're pushing now as a fundraiser. It was more ticket sales, and then we got the grant, right? So we utilized that for the purposes of covering the funds. So this time, this is like, what they call it, crowdfunding or whatever that's called. You know what I'm saying? When we're reaching out to people, emailing, whatever. And this is a dope platform, you know what I mean? It's just, but they have their own parameters, and 28 days was the original. Then they pushed it to 30, and then they gave us an additional 4 days or whatever it was. So yeah, and I know, I know if you're not going, it may not feel like, you know what I'm saying? Okay, this is not a priority for me because I'm not going. But, it is something overall that I feel like, our kids are going to benefit from. So even in these next 4 days, if you guys can share the post and, do whatever. I saw Dre upped his email list to like 500 or something. I was just like, okay. So that's dope, and just adding emails or sending out text messages, whatever, I know everybody's busy and I get it, you know what I'm saying? But it really doesn't require a whole lot, as much as we do of sharing and stuff anyway. We could, we just share this once or twice and we good. The system does a lot of it for us too. The system sends out the reminder emails. It sends out the text messages if you want a text message to send out. You don't have to do it yourself. Actually, I think with the text message, it generates an automatic message, and then you can just copy and paste that and then send it. But I think there is a way for us to also be able to use the text message feature where it automatically sends it out. You just add the yeah, it is. So you can either add the phone numbers and then it sends out the message automatically, or you just you copy and paste the message and then you send it out to whoever you want to send it out to. So it's really up, really up to you with that. But I think overall, I think this was a very good first fundraiser for us. I think this was phenomenal considering. I know we were very ambitious with our goal, and rightfully so. We have 9 scholars, at this point going. I may have overestimated a little bit, but it's better to have and not need it than to need it and not have it. We got to pay for flights, we got to pay for hotels, we got to pay, all the accommodations that come along with this traveling. And this is and we got to keep our word. we got to make it happen for the kids. So just in the next 4 days, whatever you guys can do to help ramp up, funding, or rather help ramp up the support for funding, that would be great. As y'all can see, I emailed all of the districts, the school districts that all of the kids go to. I've emailed the entire school districts, including the superintendents, the Board of Ed. If they were in a borough, I emailed the borough presidents and the councils, and you don't see it because I BCC, because not everybody wants their emails out there. But yeah, I'm sending, we do what you can. So you don't have to work, you don't have to do anything hard. You just copy and paste the email and send it out. So I'm trying to make it as easy as possible for everybody to, whatever the system doesn't do, I'm, trying to kind of work to get that done too. So we have 4 days. I say let's go out with a bang and get it done. And congrats to everybody who's gotten Leon. I think Janiyah just bumped him out of the top 3 fundraisers. And so right now it's Kavion, Janiyah, and Roberto. So, but just so that you know, yeah, because I don't think we have anything else. Okay, so as far as the scholars participating or attending, we have, as I mentioned, we have 9. So y'all saw, I'm keeping you guys abreast of who has since, indicated that they weren't going to be able to go. So Jeremy no longer going, Amy no longer going, Prince no longer going. All 3. Well, Amy, her parents are just scared to. they don't, for her to leave the nest so soon, apparently. And they're afraid for her safety or whatever. And she'll be grown soon, but I guess they want to keep her as long as possible. So that's cool. So, and then Jeremy and Prince, they are both a part of, I believe it's the same internship. And so it overlaps with when our internship starts. And so they had to bow out. So right now we have Adrian, Andrew, Cece, Sierra, Janiyah, Malachi, Tyrese, Roberto, and Kavion. And Zanijah will no longer be with us either. So it actually worked out perfectly. We have 1 less than what we anticipated. And it was kind of done intentionally too, like that. But if you notice the numbers, like we would have had a whole lot more than that if all of them would have been able to go. So we are actually where we wanted to be anyway. And I met with the parents on whatever day that was. I told you I met with them, to go over some updates and what what we're currently working on with the hotels and, just the working accommodations and all that or whatever. And so, well, the hotel accommodations and the working situations, and where everybody's going to be situated when they get there. We talked about the travel and us leaving from Newark and just basic stuff like that. So that's the reason why I didn't really put it out there for you guys, because most of you guys aren't coming, but it's good to know, and it's recorded, and I'm going to share that out tonight. But unless you had something really pressing to add, you guys can certainly join the meetings. We're going to be meeting on Wednesdays. I'm sorry, that's Miss C.
Oh, okay. Every Wednesday leading up to the trip.
Yeah, well, no. So because the schedule has been so busy, we decided to meet. Hold on, I'll tell you right now. Our next meeting is the 14th of November. I think we have like 3 more meetings, and then 1 more right before. So
14th of November.
Did I say November? I'm in June. I was doing that all day.
Oh, it's like,
Oh, I was like, November?
Yeah,
That's
no.
that's my birthday.
And that's after. No, the 14th of June. My apologies. The 14th of June, July 5th, July 19th, and then our final meeting will be on July the 26th. We're meeting from 7 to 8. 7:30 to 8:30. So it's right before the children's Bible study. We hope to not, we hope to not have to meet the full hour, but we set that hour, and that was, that's pretty much when most are available to come. I think it was like 2 parents who weren't, weren't sure about the Wednesdays, but then they ended up agreeing to it. So those are the dates. So, and I'll send that out too. So the 14th of June, the 5th of July, the 19th of July, and then the 26th of July before we leave on the 28th. And once again, you all are more than welcome. I know Tiana's going. I'm going as far as chaperones. Miss C will be there. Missy, Miss C and Missy, Melissa will be there. And then Roberto's dad. Though Miss C also asked me if Cece's father could sign up to be a chaperone as well. So we created a chaperone application where they have to provide a resume and just general background information on them, because what we don't want is just not to have something in place, right? We need to make sure that we are covered on our end in terms of if there's any required information for whatever reason, that we have, we've got their information recorded on our end. And so he may or may not go. I'm not sure yet. I think Missy wanted to actually join tonight. I told her she could, but then I told her, we have our next meeting on the 14th, so it's up to her. But so that was pretty much that. And so what we talked about was securing the tickets for the flights, because obviously, as you guys know, traveling, the closer we get to that time, the more expensive it's essentially going to end up becoming. And so that's that. And right now I'm working with Christine, but I'm also working on my own, and I've reached out to some of my own contacts, Toya, to include the young lady and the gentleman you were talking about earlier today, teaching one of the business classes. He and his wife live right around the corner from me. His wife is Stacy, and she texted me because they're both from Jamaica as well, and they frequent there all the time, and they're very well. They are very well versed, I guess, within the hospitality space as well there. So they know a lot about, different locations that we could visit or even just stay in. So she sent me like 4 different resorts that and she thinks, she thought that they would be, really good leads. So I'm going to look into those too, because I'm waiting on Christine, and she kind of keeps pushing it off like, oh, we got, yeah, let's meet tomorrow or whatever. And then we end up not. I know she also has her own, production stuff going on too. So anyway, all that said, we are, just trying to finalize the hotel accommodations, and I'm more banking on her at this point. I'm kind of more banking on her for the job opportunity, or for the internship experience itself, the actual on the job training that's going to take place. So I'm looking more to her for that, and then I'm probably going to end up just going a different route if it doesn't work out, because she's also wanting the kids to not separate, but like have us in 2 separate resorts. And I told her that wasn't going to happen, and the parents agreed. Yes.
Can you just send me the details, or we could talk offline of I guess what the gap is for the hotel accommodations?
The gap? What do you mean?
Like, are you saying that she's not able to actually, she's not delivering on?
Yeah, like I don't want to.
In?
Correct. So yes and no. Like I'm trying to be judicious in my wording and my perception, because it could very well be that she's been extremely inundated with her own work and everything that she's got going on, and plus she's got her play production and stuff that she told us all about, that she's been promoting really heavily. So I don't want to just count her out. I'm just not trying to put all my eggs in that basket. You know what I'm saying? Because then we'll end up messing around, and I'll have to last minute try to figure it out. And I'm not a last minute figure outer type of person. So even this is too last minute for me. I don't operate like that. Like, if you tell me you're gonna do something, then you're either gonna do it or you're not. Like, but I can't. I'm a planner, and I things just have to be in place. So I'm waiting to see what happens. We're supposed to meet tomorrow, and I'm supposed to meet with the resort owner. But if they're talking about us separating, I don't mind us separating for work purposes. But as far as us staying and communing and all that other stuff, we're not separating our kids. It's only, it's 15 of us at most. There's no reason why we need to all, you know what I'm saying? Like to separate, like,
Right.
and we're gonna room them up together, right? So they'll be all three of the girls will be together, and then we'll have 3, 6, so it's 9. We'll probably have 3 boys in one room, 3 boys in another room. So that's only 3 rooms for them. And then we'll probably do the same for the chaperones, with the exception of Roberto's dad. Now the only thing with him, or with our chaperones, period, is whatever funds we don't, are not raised, we got to figure out a way to, at least for our people. For Roberto's dad, he's gonna either have to come out of pocket, or he's gonna have to start raising some money. And he and I had that conversation offline as well, and separate to the conversation with the parents. He unfortunately didn't make it to that meeting, so but he was supposed to come on anyway. People are gonna have to start coming out of the adults anyway, because the money is really going to be all towards the kids and getting them there. I'm paying my own way. I'm not using anything that I've raised, goes right back into the bucket for the kids who are, who just haven't met the mark. And that's basically where I stand. So, and I know Tiana, she's been doing her thing, raising, as far as the chaperones. But unfortunately, it is what it is. We got to, if they ain't gonna step it up, then they gotta come out of pocket.
And question on the work location, is the work location tied into where you guys are staying, or
So that was
you
the
guys
goal.
be like busing?
Yeah, that was the goal. But even if we are off site, I don't mind being off site and separating, and as long as we have a chaperone with each group, you know what I'm saying? And being still close proximity, but off site in different locations, and then they're going to rotate anyway. But as far as like when everybody reconvenes and comes back together again, we want everybody staying together. When we do our events, everybody should be together. When we go out to dinner, everybody be together.
Right.
That's the goal, especially for the first time. Like, and Dre, you could speak to that too, as far as your experience. I don't know if are you still there?
I could start asking
I am.
around, Rosie,
Okay.
for other locations.
Yeah, I mean,
That could
Yeah, I
potentially
appreciate that.
host.
yeah, it's better to have us all in one location. We can work in different locations because we
Right.
can send, mentors out and take cabs, walk, bike, whatever you need to do to get there. But it's always better. Plus, I think, me personally, you've already said it, but the parents would agree with that too. I
Yeah.
wouldn't want to be, chaperone, and then there's 9 kids and we've got 5 kids on, 10 miles away from each other. If anything
Right.
was to happen, kind of like last minute, where we have to, any kind of emergencies, anything could happen.
Right.
It would be better if we were all together.
Right. Yeah. So that's it. And even in our last conversation, which was Thursday, she and I were supposed to meet Friday. I reached out to her Friday, and she was like, "Oh, let's wait till next week." I reached out to her today. "Oh, let's wait till tomorrow." So she's been giving me the push off, and I don't, I'm not really feeling it, but I'm trying to be patient because I know she's helping. But at the same time, like I was telling Leon, we're paying for this, and we're free labor. Nothing is coming free for us. Everything that we're doing at this point is being paid out of pocket by us. So at the end of the day, we need, I'm utilizing her because she says she has the resources and stuff like that. But like I could get it another way if need be. Like
she was the
yeah.
same person that said, "Why wait?" too, right?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. She's the one who who was pushing this, going to Jamaica, and this would be perfect time. And I was hesitant, but I was like, you know what? And I'm not hesitant now. I'm like, we have to. There's no way we can't. You know what I'm saying? Like these kids are relying and dependent on this, but it's frustrating. It's all the back end stuff that, anyway, we going.
I would just say, stay your tenacious self on top of it.
Yeah.
It's the internship is in like what, a month and a half. 2
Yeah.
months at the end of July. Yeah, this is not the time to be passive, my friend. I'm just saying.
Oh, I'm not passive at all. I've been reaching out to her every day. But you can only do what you can do. You know what I'm saying? Like she's responding, but it's like, okay, let's meet tomorrow. Okay, let me make sure that he's gonna be on the call. Okay, let me see. You know what I'm saying? And you keep giving me the runaround, and I'm trying to anyway, it's a recording line, so I don't wanna go off on a tangent, but just so you guys can see that it's a lot of work that goes into this too. Andre, you and I were on the other side of the spectrum. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Where we just had to show up,
Yep.
and so, that's Miss C. Morgan. We just had to show up, and the rest, the adults handled. And so here we are, I'm full circle, and now I'm here I am. So anyway, I'm just letting you guys know, just giving you an idea of what what is happening at this time. But like I said, I've reached out to our resources, and so we're hi, Miss C. Morgan.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Yes, now we are the adults. You're right, JR. We're doing well, just going over the internship. So your timing is perfect. Just going over just our meeting from Wednesday that we had. Thursday, I'm sorry. And just, kind of going over a few logistics that we discussed on Wednesday's call. But I'll also be setting out the meeting minutes with the recording after this. Yeah, so that was it. That was all. That was as far as the snap raise. Like, look, we got 4 days, so let's try to push as much as possible. Now we have 4 days in snap raise. That doesn't mean we have 4 days to, and then we stop fundraising. Like, we can continue the fundraising. It's just we would have to do it separate to the snap raise platform, right? Because that would be over. And then remember, we're paying a 20% fee just to utilize their services. So whatever we make, we got to make sure we deduct that 20% off of it. And that's the actual amount of money that we would bring to the table. So even on top of that, like, we will continue to still raise funds. I did the numbers of, like, for the tickets for just the scholars alone. And it's about 5 and change from Newark, New Jersey. So I forgot what the number is. My brain hurts right now, but yeah, that's just, and that was as of last week. The numbers change, and it actually had gone down a little bit too from the previous time that I looked. So let's just say 550. I don't even think it was that much, but times 9, that's 49.50 right there out of the 19 grand that we have so far, or give or take a couple grand with the 20%. That's 49. So let's just say 5 grand towards flight for just the scholars. Yes. Okay. Just to give you guys a perspective of, that's not covering the hotel rooms. And again, everybody's rooming up 3 and 3 boys, 3 girls. And then, like, Miss C and I, we already talked about that, as far as just either she and I rooming together, or whoever. She's fine with it. I told her I snore, but my husband's still with me after 11 years, and so I think we're good. And that, and then the only other one, would be, like I said, it would be Roberto's dad, unless Miss C, I don't know if you spoke with Cece's dad and if he's still interested in participating. But then I don't know if you would want to
speak with him today.
Okay. And it's fine if not. We have the 5 chaperones. It's just, I know you mentioned that he mentioned it. So that, I think that's that. I mean, that was the main thing. Or those were the main takeaways from the meeting. Missy, did you have anything that you wanted to add?
No.
I know you missed half of everything that we said, but it was basically just what we talked about during our meeting on Wednesday. So that's why I was saying you didn't have to. If you wanted to come, you could, but I wanted to make sure that you knew it wasn't, mandatory or anything.
That's
But since
fine.
you're here, do you have anything you want to add? As a
No,
chaperone?
no, I know I was still looking, what we talked about when I was looking into private charters, I'm just waiting for responses back, like what they may or may not be able to do, just looking at it, just reaching out to some different places to help with playing.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. Yes, and Miss C has offered to look and, you know, look into some things as well. So thank you for that, Miss C. I appreciate that.
Mhm.
Maybe I just don't know this. Well, not maybe, I don't know this. Does, when you're flying on behalf of an organization, are you able to use your tax exempt?
Yeah, so that's the other thing we're looking into, either getting a tax exempt or a group rate or both. Because they do offer that for, like, you know, school groups and other organizations. So it really is just a matter of hearing back. So United is essentially who we're probably going to be flying through. And I was just telling Ms. C that I work with, obviously right now where I'm in the office that I'm working in now, I'm working with primarily pilots. And most of them, they're pilots in the military, but they're also pilots in you know, in the civil, on the civilian side, right? So they all work for commercial airlines. And the two commanders who I'm working with directly actually work for United. So they fly for United when they're not working with us. So I'm going to be speaking to one of the commanders tomorrow and just kind of picking his brain to find out. I sent one of the commanders our email or our information already. I've yet to hear back from her. So now I'm going to move on to the next pilot. So we'll, you know, but yes, I need to find out from him though, like if there's anybody in particular who I need to reach out to, since he has the insider scoop and he's been with them for years. So we'll find that out. But yes, that's the goal, is to have, you know, is to get that knocked down even further, that amount for the flights.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for the updates. For that, I'm watching the time. I know a good portion of us have another meeting to attend at 8 o'clock. So I wanted to be conscious of the time and find out from you, Rosie, what would you like me to focus on for the remaining 20 minutes?
The business and entrepreneurship.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So thoughts, comments, concerns, feedback. End of course, graduation, top scholars, EBA recipient. I believe we didn't decide. Did we decide on it? EBA, I don't believe we have.
I mean, I mentioned Janaya, but I don't know. I mean, we didn't all like agree on anything yet.
Okay. But we have our top scholars.
Right.
Graduation, any feedback, thoughts, comments, concerns? I know there was a lot of text messages. I'm not totally sure where we left off. I know Andre made a suggestion about future series having a numerical system for choosing top scholars. So whatever the
Nice.
thoughts are, if anyone would like to share.
Yeah, we that was mentioned that was I had the same suggestion, but I know Andre wasn't able to scroll back and see, but basically going through how we are going to measure the scholars and having some kind of scoring system. So that way it's a bit more calculated and less like just open. So that way it's kind of decided by the numbers, and then if need be, there's one vote. And then also, I guess, taking time to clarify out like what the measurement, like what is it that we're measuring? How do we assign the numbers? So that could be like per class, let's say like each student is getting like a certain amount of checkpoints. Let's say we're checking on 5 things per class. That keeps them eligible. And then how are we weighing the attendance the participation against the actual output, which is usually the final presentation or their resumes, right? So we went this year like resume mandatory and presentation. So how those weighted and graded, and then how does that all now come up to be a total grade? It was mentioned in the text as well to like different viewpoints on what should be the final kind of like what makes up the final grade. And I believe myself and Leon was leaning towards like their end of class project should have a heavy weight on the final grade. My viewpoint on that is, similar to any kind of academic program. You're tested at the end. Your performance on that test, your final, is going to weigh heavily on whether or not you pass or fail. Because that's a combination of what you learned and how you're going to apply what you learned. So definitely not something I guess we would decide completely today right now, but something to be working together on over the next few months. I would say ideally before the fall business and entrepreneurship class, we would come to like an agreement. I could draft, like Toy and I could draft something as the directors of the program and then share with the group for feedback and review and tweaks.
Anyone want to add to that point system? I agree. I think that would be a nice way to have a more, just have a different approach, I guess, with choosing the top scholar. And I could see it even being like, I guess, points, right, that lead up to 100, So if I agree, I think I also shared that I think the end of course assessment should have a pretty heavy weight to it. So I would say if we're, looking at each component of the top scholar having a summation of points that would lead up to 100, maybe then the end of course could have the heavier weight. So I agree with that. I don't know if anyone else would like to add to what was shared.
So yeah, I definitely think, this deserves a little more, few more conversations, obviously, to really kind of narrow down what it is that we envision, in the future courses and how we assess their growth, right? Because you can have somebody come in and not attend any class and knock the ball out the park at their end of course assessment just by watching the videos. You know what I'm saying? So I while I agree that it should hold heavier weight, I don't think that it should hold the heaviest weight. And that has been sort of my stance because it's an overall reflection, everything from the beginning to the end of the course. That is what we assess. And it really is hard to put a point system together when a lot of us are not always there at every single class. And so the numbers are already skewed. You know what I mean? So it really, the same way when you're voting and everybody's not present to do so. And we can't really call it, majority vote when, like we talked about already.
It wouldn't be
We
just
talked
the
about
final, Rosie.
Right,
The
but I'm
suggestion
saying,
is it would be qualifiers. So who qualifies for top scholar? So we would say for each class, right, we're gonna grade each class. So the instructors would need to do this for each class. So for each class, what is each student's grade? Who was there on time, right? If
right.
they
Thank you,
came
JR,
out 10
because I was
minutes,
about to
they're not
step
gonna
in and
get
say that.
the same grade. You're
Okay.
late, so you're no longer unqualified. So of the qualified students now, let's say there's 3 students who
Mhm.
had the right attendance, who had the right participation, they qualify for top scholar. Now it's going to go to their final presentation because these are the 3 qualifiers. So out
Right,
of the
but then
3, whose final presentation was actually graded the best presentation overall?
So you're
that
basically though excluding the
completes
rest
it.
of the group just because they don't qualify. And that's what
But
I'm
that's
saying
what we're
though.
already
So,
doing, Rosie, with the
Yeah,
but
that
you're
we're
attendance.
not,
You
already
have
because
to
you
kind of,
still,
qualify.
right, but you still want them to be able to present. You still want them to be able to participate throughout for the duration of the course. Like you don't want to just be like, okay, we got the 3 qualifiers, or everybody else, there's no need for you
can I
to even
chime in real
present.
quick, Rosie?
So
That's not
We're
what we're
not
saying, though.
we're not excluding them from the final anything. Those 3 that are qualified, it's not something we would announce to the group. We would know the 3 top scholars that are qualified based on the numbers for us that don't attend every class. All the kids will have to go all the way to the end. Does that make sense? Everybody's going to give their presentation. None of that is going to change in what we're doing. It's just now we're putting a point scale on it so the teacher could say, okay, every class is worth 4 points. 1 point for attendance, 1 point for participation, 1 point for something else, 1 point for something else. And so the teachers, all right, they got 10 kids in here. Kevin got 3 points. He lost a point because he wasn't on time. This one got 4 points. And the closer we get to the end, we'll look and be like, oh, okay, so we got 10 kids. We've got 6 kids that all got 15 points, but we got these 3 kids that have 25 points. So they're going to be in contention for top scholar, but they all have to give their presentation, because when they get to the ending presentation, which is the one that has more weight, much like taking a midterm or taking a final in school, it may boost somebody that has 10 points up, but they may not be enough for them to qualify for top scholar. That way it keeps us from having to go back and forth. We could just base it on a number system, and the teachers show up to every class. So the teachers get to give them their points on that. And then we will try to do our best to make sure that we all can attend the final one so we can assess the points to that one. But if not, the teacher would have to give the points based on the rubric that we already have that has a point system of 1 through 4 on it anyway.
Yeah, I was gonna say we don't really hand in the end of course rubric. I think that's definitely something we should implement for the next series. And I agree with the instructor being the one to make the call at the end. I actually was thinking for the next series, I would love to
Hey.
get even a survey for the instructors. So maybe at the
Yeah.
end of their course, there's actually a survey for them to fill out where we ask, did you feel like you had everything you needed? Did you have any concerns? And then maybe we ask them, would you mind sharing who you felt like, I don't know, participated, was engaged tonight? And then that way we just have their feedback right away, and something that we can keep on file and refer back to. I think that would just be good overall. It just even for JR and I to just know how to support the instructors. Like even I was thinking about Rainey, it being her first time. Like I would have loved, I mean, she's very vocal, obviously, but just having on paper, her experience and her recommendations and who she felt like was, participated well. And there were some students, I mean, I won't go back into it, but there was some like shortness and little bit of attitudes that came up, during different classes I shared, that it happened to me. Patty didn't really, really didn't mind or whatever, but she noticed they're teens, they're adolescents. So I feel like that's also good feedback to know as well, especially if we can't all be in attendance. So I think all things considered, I think an instructor survey would be good. And Missy put in the chat, and participation aspect, I would say take into consideration the scholars who message in the chat versus speaking. Do you want to elaborate on that? Do you mean
When you have the introverts versus your extroverts, they may not want to speak, but they'll participate a lot in the chat. Like some of them did do that. More what I've noticed being there, they're not as vocal, so they're not as seen as much versus them always putting stuff in the chat when it looks at participation.
Yeah, and I think that's why intimately, right, it's the instructor that's really going to, to be able to provide that right away feedback. So I would love to figure out a way in future conversations to incorporate their feedback right away. And then that way, I'm saying your feedback other instructors' feedback right away. So that also could be considered. And I definitely think we should start submitting the assessments, because the assessments also just give you a number. It's not even like, oh, I felt this way, I felt, it would just give you a number based on their end of course. And the advanced and the fundamentals have two separate assessments. They're different. So it's, directly relating to what they're presenting.
And the present, how you're saying they get a point for being present, to me, it's not just my body is there as I'm present, your mind too. You have to be paying attention, because I see a lot, and I get they're coming from sports or they're on the move. You still can participate some, if not verbally, in the chat. So it doesn't look like on some of the recordings, you can see they're all over the place. They're not paying attention at times. You can see that in the recording. So I think tailoring that more, that not just the bodily presence.
Yeah, we agree with you. I think we also as a team separate participation versus engagement, Samuel didn't miss any classes, but I wouldn't say he outshines in terms of engagement, he didn't miss many classes. So yeah, I definitely agree with you there.
So for the point system, so the onus is going to be mostly on the instructors, right? And they'll understand that they're going to be the ones to have to provide this point system for each individual participant, correct? Is that what I'm hearing?
No, not what that's not what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that they would be the ones who could mostly, attendance is pretty straightforward, right?
Right.
Right. So that's not on them. I would say it's that engagement participation piece is where we really need their feedback. But then other than that, it's, the end of course, like Andre said, we were all as a board.
Right, but they're gaining these points throughout. So what I'm saying is in each class, so we have Miss C's class, right? You have about 15 students. She's supposed to be able to monitor how often or how much they engage or how much they participate. I'm just trying to get some perspective here. She solely is supposed to create, or rather complete the point system for each of those individuals for that particular class, and so for the other instructors.
No, I don't think we meant the point system for us, not for the instructors. At least that's how I understood.
I would
They're
say
saying it
that-
for the instructors.
Yeah,
I
they
would
were
say
saying
just
it for
for
the
the
instructors, and I'm right, but I'm
just like when we were
you're
in
asking
school.
them to do.
Just like when we're in school with our teachers,
Mhm.
we've all been to high school and college, right?
Right.
So the professor or the teacher, they have to monitor, what we're doing. Are we completing our work? We're turning in our homework? Are we coming to class on time? Et cetera, et cetera. And that's how they grade us,
Right.
because they're with them every day. That would be easier than us trying to grade based on the fact of, oh, he showed up. Perfect. Okay, he gets that point. But we weren't in the class. But the teacher is in every class. So it would be me for my class. It'd be like, all right, I got 15 students in here. All right, let's see who's engaging. All right, they were probably about 60%, so they get half a point. Whatever point system we come up with, right? And we give it to the teachers, and all they have to do is follow that rubric.
I wasn't thinking of it that way.
Right.
I was more so thinking like, just similar to, I was just thinking like recommendations. So like if it's in a way of a survey, because I don't want to put too much on the instructors, because they themselves, if they don't attend any other class, they're only there for their class.
Right.
Well, that was the
That's
point.
the
Each-
point system we need for their class.
Each
Right.
professor would just have a simple thing for their class. So the same way we check attendance, we'll check the participation, we'll check, just basic things for each student. So it wouldn't be complicated. It will take them, 5 minutes to just do it. So that way it's recorded, and each one is recorded, and we tally it up.
I don't, me personally, I
just think that's a lot to expect from the instructors, for me personally.
I think it's a lot to expect from them as well. Like for me, I trust all of our instructors. A lot of our instructors are on the board, right? So for me, I'm just looking for, what's your general feedback? Because it's pretty clear. I mean, we have had large classes, especially this fundamentals class, but it was even in the fundamentals, it was pretty cut and dry for us even to observe who was, you know, participating and engaging. So I think that's what I'm looking more so from the instructors, because they only have one class compared to like when you're in school and you spend an entire semester with a professor. We're talking about they're just engaging with them for one class. So I think as opposed to me, I wouldn't be looking for them to give a point to every student. I would just say, I want to hear your feedback. Who do you feel like engaged the most? Who do you feel like contributed, right? That's the big word now, I know, at Rutgers. Who contributed the most, you know, to your class? And then to me, for us as a board, I would just keep that as a tally, like, oh wow, out of 3 classes, Susie's name came up, you know, twice. You know, then for us, that's just like
I
something.
think we're saying the same thing differently. So what I'm saying is that feedback, we would record it, right? So whatever we make the recording for the class, we get a class by class feedback from the instructor. So whether we want to say all we're going to ask them was who was the most engaged, then that's the points that we're going to use. But I felt that we could do, you know, 3 to 4 basic high level things where they're just checking it off. You know, the same way we have the kids do a survey for every single class, the kids are doing a survey, and that takes longer. So like, I felt like for the instructors to do it, I didn't think it was out of the, you know, like out of scope, since the kids are doing it every single class, you know. And for some instructors it's 1 class, for others we're doing 2 classes. So it didn't, you know, I wasn't saying it to be this complex scoring system, but just saying from a high level, some kind of way to get that feedback from the class, from the instructor, recorded. So that way we have something to actually tally, versus, you know, it's weeks later and we're like, oh, we felt this person did well or they didn't. Let's record something on a class by class basis.
I don't think that's much from an instructor, from, you know, me not being on the board, but the outside. Now, I don't think that's a lot to actually ask of the instructors, because we do, I'll speak for me, I did observe it. I could see, even when we have our breaks, that's ample time to actually like write some notes down or something, you know, what students are doing or what we see, because we're going to observe it. I think when it comes to weeks later, it's like, try to remember that. So I think adding that to be required of the instructors, I think that's a minimal, especially like it's 4 or 5 questions. Because when you call on names and see what you have to do, and some you're going to have to, you know, like students, you will have to have them open up and things of that. But I don't think that is, from my point of view, that's too much to ask, because it does help skew it. But the scholars are going to know what's expected of them anyways, just like the teachers will. Though the professors are going to know what's expected, just like the scholars will.
Go ahead, Leon.
Leon's the
Yeah, sorry
scholar
about
that
that.
raised his
Sorry.
hand.
Yeah, we do that in our meetings. We have to raise our hand. So it feels like we're kids. No, but in all seriousness, I was gonna say what Ms. C said is, I think it's really more of just kind of like setting the expectation for the instructors, so they are aware like what's expected. They know, I mean, the curriculum is already created, right? Some of them bring a little bit of their own style, right, to the teaching and what they add as far as like material, like course material. But something that she said that I think that if we can like kind of set the expectation for the instructors, like in between time, because it just naturally, I think about my professors, they always tell you, you know, if you want to get a certain grade, you know, it's really more of like how well you stand out amongst the crowd, right? So if we or whoever is selected to talk to Miss C or to Mr. Gray or to any instructors, and like say, Dre, hey, listen, you know, in your class that we taught today, you know, who you thought stood out the most, it'd be easy for Dre to pick out that person, rather than rather than asking him amongst like 2 of the classes, you know what I mean? Or amongst all the instructors. It's just easier for the instructor to kind of select who kind of stood out. But I think just kind of like just setting expectation for the instructors. Let them know this is what we would need.
Sorry, babe.
Mm-hmm.
really quickly, because I know we have to go. I guess my question then, my follow-on question would be, are we doing it as a point system, or are we doing it based on their analysis? So, or assessment rather, right? So are we saying, how well do you think this person did from a scale of 1 to 10 for each student? Are we, because that's the points system for me, like, or are you just saying, who do you think did the best? Janaya, Prince, so and so, and then are we just checking a box? Because then that's not a point system. So I'm trying to figure out how that would work.
So I'm suggesting a point system. I just wanted to float the idea, but we definitely will need to sit and think it through and propose something. That's why I was saying we would work on over the summer to work it through, because this is the first time we're like talking about it.
Yeah, basically, I think we're saying similar things. It's just the implementation,
the delivery, right?
Yeah, it's because
formatting.
the format. Because for me, my recommendation was I want to hear their feedback overall. So for me to include something in a survey that kind of just says, "Oh yeah, by the way, who participated the most today, or who outshined, the other scholars in your class today." Like for me, that would be enough, and then I would just make note and have those responses recorded. So yeah, I think it's just a matter of future conversations, what we may want to ask, and the information and feedback we want to get back from the instructors. I think it's a great idea, and I think it will help us overall.
Right, and alleviate confusion. And I guess for me, it's just clarity. Like, how are we introducing it? How are we implementing it? How are we, going to do that for the next series, or if it's going to be for the next series, which I do agree that we should, have something, maybe not for the summer, but definitely for, just because the summer is right around the corner, but, definitely for the fall series. And then Dre and Chastity, if you guys want to do something similar for this coming series,
Yeah, well,
yeah.
Me and Chastity talk about it, because I think I'm going to implement it, and we can run it as a pilot with the summer series, and then we can tweak it for the fall and the spring.
Sounds good. Please let me know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if we want to wrap up here, so we can head to the other meeting.
Yeah. Missy said, ask the scholars what they feel they should be about. I do agree that we should, in addition to surveying them though, like asking them their feedback on their peers. I don't think that there's anything wrong with that, them assessing their peers. And I think that should be something to consider as well.
Could it be, because I know we're trying to make sure it's not too complicated for the instructors. Could it be something as simple as letting the instructors know what the standards and requirements are for a top scholar, and then have them give us their top 3 in order, and then those students get points, like who's your top scholar, like first place, second place, third place, and that's how they're awarded these points. And then that happens for each course, and then we figure out something towards the end.
Right, but what if each time, because to whoever said it earlier today, like
if it's
only one instructor, it's going to be a different instructor for the most part. We'll have different classes, different instructors each time.
Right.
It's not like it's going to be one instructor for every single class.
No, I think that's okay.
Yeah.
And then it's like, I think, Toya, you mentioned this, it's like we're banking on someone's name being mentioned multiple times, because they're probably going to perform the same way for multiple classes.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think even just leaving it open-ended, like I would just know, is there anything you would like to note about the scholars from your class? Like we just don't know what feedback we may get. Like even Missy just sharing, I saw on the screen as an instructor, there was people moving around, like we would want to know, like, what was happening, especially as we grow and we expand, we definitely want to get instructor feedback. we're going in person. Like, it's just a nice, I think it's the opportune time to really capture their feedback and have it recorded. I don't know
Mhm.
about the top three. But I think for me, I think as open-ended as possible. Like, I would, were there any scholar, and then we could put an S, or scholars, that's
Stop.
that way they could just, the instructor could just provide the feedback that they'd like. But I like the idea of piloting it this summer, to kind of get the feedback, just kind of see how it works. And I agree with the feedback from the scholars about their peers. I think that would be a great question in the final survey, when we do the final survey for that series. I think that would be a great time to capture that.
I mean, in a sense that too, but like if they're like, let's say they're trying to do that in the summer, ask the scholars, what do they think we should evaluate them on? Just to get ideas for them. I know, we're going through this as a group, but even for them, that makes them take some accountability, say, hey, we didn't come up with this ourselves. This was from peers or people who have been in the program previously. They felt this is what they should be evaluated on. And then they hold the expectation too, because this came from them, not just the adults.
Right. Yeah, I see that too. Okay, I mean, we could definitely continue it, because I know I also mentioned working on an SOP for just overall expectations, and what the kids need to understand as far as what we expect from them, so that there's no confusion with that either. So I'm still kind of trying to find the time to finish that, but I would definitely share that. So I know we have a meeting at 8:00. So yeah, I think, unless Toy, you have anything else, maybe it's safe to kind of end it here.
No, I was just thinking about the junior board. Those were all previous scholars. I would love to hear from them what they,
Yeah, we gotta bring that back. They kind of lay
they,
dormant.
yeah, maybe that we could use their support even with this, like what they would have wanted to be evaluated on, since they went through it. Some went through 3 series. They would have
Yeah.
some good feedback for that. But thank you all for joining us today. We're going to wrap up as we're heading to another meeting. So if someone can make a motion to close out the meeting.
I got one quick word before we close out. I want to give a shout out to JR for hooking me up with Yahoo on doing this Juneteenth event. It's a celebratory announcement, because I know he no longer is employed there, but he still made the connection. She did reach out to me, and we've got a schedule for the 21st, which is after Juneteenth, but they get that scheduled. So shout out to JR for making that connection. I appreciate you. Celebratory announcement.
Awesome. Next time, get it to me before, bro.
I totally forgot. Me and JR had a long conversation when I was in DC. I just totally forgot to tell you. So
I love it how everybody just be connecting, interconnecting. I love it. I do. I love it. Keep it up. It's awesome. But is this a virtual thing?
yes,
Okay, nice. Let me.
it'll be
on
live as well. And so I'll give y'all the exact times. It's June 21st. I want to say it's 3 p.m. your time, 2 p.m. Central. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, keep us posted, please. Congratulations.
That's very cool. Thanks for sharing.
Yes.
Motion to end the meeting, since I made it longer.
I
I
second.
second. Oh.
All right. Thank you all for joining the board meeting today. Have a wonderful night.
Thank you. And thank you, Ms. C, for participating. I appreciate it. We appreciate it.